Hey everyone, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with, fuck, what am I doing? Talking about some of the movies that I watched. Except for, man, I let myself get so behind on this that it would take a long time to make one video about this. So what I'm gonna do is just tell you about some of the exceptional movies I've watched in the last couple days, because there are a few that I really liked. Alright, so the first movie I want to tell you about is a movie called Level 16. This one came out in 2018, and it's one that I've been wanting to watch since then. So, in this movie, it's more of a thriller than a horror movie, I will say that, but I thought it was really excellent. This is about this, like, academy where these girls grow up. They are put on different levels, and once you get to the last level, level 16, you're able to be adopted by a family. But they have a lot of strict rules that you have to follow in order to stay clean and be a clean girl. And they're very, the school's very strict with what they teach the girls, what they could say to each other, you know, the regimens that they had to follow. And the reason that these girls are in this school, the school tells them, is because the air outside is poison. And so they're really like being given a privilege of being protected from the outside world while being taught to be a clean girl. And if they follow all the rules, they'll eventually be able to be adopted. And when we go into this movie, we're following one girl in particular, and she has just made it to level 16. But there, obviously, she finds out that maybe the school isn't exactly, maybe their like mission statement isn't exactly what they've been telling people. It's very twisty and turny. I really enjoyed like all the time I spent watching this movie. I thought that there were so many interesting little tidbits here and there of stuff. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just like they gave it depth, even though like this movie takes place basically like in a hallway. So it was really interesting, and I don't think I've ever seen or heard anyone review it before, so I think you should watch it. It's not on any streaming service I am subscribed to, so I did have to rent it, but I thought it was worth the $4 I spent to watch it. So another movie I'd really like to talk about, which is a pretty popular movie, so like I can't say that it's a hidden gem or anything. I rewatched the remake of Evil Dead. This came out in 2013. Obviously it's a remake. This one's a little more serious than the original. And basically the premise of this one is that there's a group of friends and they're banding around their sister and friend who is trying to kick a heroin addiction. Can you hear those birds? They're very happy outside. But they're doing this in a cabin that no one's been to in years, and it's very secluded, and they've decided that as their friend is in the thralls of withdrawal, they have all agreed that they will not bring her back to town because she's tried to get clean before, and what happens is obviously withdrawals are no fun. And she gets so sick that she needs to have heroin again, and ends up getting it instead of going through with her, what do they call it? With her detox, I guess. So everything's going like as good as it can, but the woman who's detoxing, her name is Mia, and she keeps complaining about this smell, and they're like, oh, it's just because you're feeling sick right now and stuff. Eventually they find like a trap door under a rug in the cabin, and they go down into like this basement, and there are just dead animals hanging everywhere, and it looks very much like some sort of a shrine almost, or like it has some sort of witchcrafty thing going on. And while they're in the basement, they find this book bound in human skin, and one of the friends is a fucking idiot and decides to read a passage from the book, and obviously Like, no good ever comes of that in a horror movie. So this one, I really don't know, I guess, how people feel about this one. I've never, like, taken the time to watch reviews on it. I guess because it came out so long ago. I really don't know, because usually remakes tend to have kind of a negative thing going on, especially with, like, die-hard horror fans. So it's very possible that people don't like this. Like, some people don't like it, I guess. Not people in general, but I really like this. I like this remake. It is so bloody and gory. I mean, like, it literally rains fucking blood for like 20 minutes of the movie. There's so many things that make you cringe. Like, oh, so many bodily injuries that you're like, oh my god, and it just like hurts. You get like phantom pains in your limbs. I like it. I think more people should watch that if they haven't given it the chance. I think it's a really great remake. Another one I'd like to talk about is called The Special, and this, I heard about this because author James Newman wrote the screenplay. I mistakenly thought it was a book of his that was adapted the last time I talked about it, but it is just the screenplay. He wrote the screenplay with Mark Steensland is the other screenwriter. This one was very weird. And definitely like not safe for work, not safe to watch in front of your children, not safe to watch in front of your mother, not safe maybe even to watch in front of your spouse or your partner if you have one. Probably not even safe to watch in front of your dog. So this is, I don't know, it's just so weird. So there's this main character, his name's Jerry, and he only suspects that his wife is cheating on him. So like his buddy from work is like, come on, we're gonna go out and have some drinks, and then they're a little bit drunk, and the coworker suggests that he, you know, gets back at his wife for maybe cheating on him by going to like a brothel. And at the brothel, the coworker says, you want to have the special. So the guy's like, I want the special. Jerry wants the special. So the madame of the house leads him up to this room, and there's just a box, like a wooden box with a hole in it that says, stick it in here. And he does. And it's like the best sexual experience he's ever had in his life. And he gets so obsessed with being able to have time with this box that he basically does anything he can to have it and to be able to spend time with it. And it becomes like this crazy obsession where he literally does everything he can to be with his box. And it's just, man, the ending is so weird. I don't even, like, I do not want to spoil it for you guys because I think that you should probably rent it. It is so strange. It's like it's like an X-rated Twilight Zone movie. It's just so weird, and nothing I ever would have suspected walking into the beginning of this. It's just so bananas and off the wall, and really just one of the strangest movies I've watched this month. All right, I would also like to tell you about another remake I watched. This is the remake of Maniac, which it was originally, I believe, like a film that came out in the 80s. I haven't watched that, which is so weird. I know, it's weird. But the remake came out in 2012, and the only reason I watched the remake in the first place is because Elijah Wood was in it, which is how I found out that, like, it was a remake, because I had never even heard of the original movie before that. And I really like Elijah Wood, and I think he gets so much shit. Like, people don't watch things that he's in because of Lord of the Rings, and because kind of Frodo was like a, I don't know, at least in my mind, he's just kind of a little willowy hobbit. But I mean, that's a discussion for a different video, I guess. But I really love Elijah Wood as an actor, and I think he was great in like everything I've watched that he has been in since Lord of the Rings. I mean, I loved the show Wilfred. That was hilarious. I recently watched his movie Come to Daddy, which was great. Maniac is great. I just really like Elijah Wood. He doesn't age. In this movie, he owns like the family business, and that family business is restoring antique mannequins. And he also has a little hobby on the side of murdering women and like scalping them and putting their scalps on mannequin heads and dressing them up like the mannequins, and then they're his girlfriends, and it's just like that. He meets a woman who he really, really likes, and he really likes her and doesn't want to kill her, and she's an artist, and she actually rents some of his mannequins from him, and so he's like trying to develop this relationship, but he's obviously got a lot of problems. He has severe migraines. Obviously he has like mannequins with dead women's hair on them in his home, so he's like not doing super great. So he's really a sympathetic character though, because you get like glimpses of his past with his mother, of his childhood and things like that. Like things weren't great, and so he's very sympathetic, and it's like you get to the end and you're almost rooting for him, even though he is somebody who has severe mental health issues and is doing horrible things to women. So I don't know, I really like this one. I think it's also, I can't say that I think it's a great remake because I've never seen the original, but I really like the remake of Maniac. Okay, so the last movie I'd like to talk to you guys about is, it has become one of my favorite summertime horror slasher, like summer camp slasher movies, and that is Sleepaway Camp. And I watched it for the first time last October. I've watched it a couple times since then. I watched it again this week, and it is just so, oh my gosh, it's like, I almost don't even want to tell you guys about it because I think you should just have a totally blank slate, like a clean opinion going into this. Does that make sense? Like, you should have no opinion of what is going to take place, because I think just watching this movie, you're like, okay, this is, you know, a almost like Friday the 13th kind of a thing. And then it's like not. In Sleepaway Camp, we follow two cousins, Ricky and Angela, and they're obviously going to sleepaway camp. And Angela's a little bit shy. She's had kind of a traumatic past, and she's not very old. So like, you know, the trauma isn't like decades old or anything like that. So Ricky's just like trying to take care of her. He's trying to be a good cousin. People kind of pick on her a little bit, and he tries to stick up for her, but she's a little bit strange. And then someone starts killing the campers and the camp counselors and things like that, and nobody knows who it could be until they find out who it is. And I won't tell you what happens. It's just like, it's just that this is one of my favorite endings of any horror movie of all time, and it's just like so unassuming. And it's like, how dare you go from being such an unassuming, kind of straightforward horror flick, like a slasher, to what happens at the end of this movie. It's just so weird. If you haven't seen it, it's a classic. I think it's on Shudder. It's a classic. It's a gem. I love it so much. I think everyone should watch it. One of my favorite summer slashers. You know I love summer horror. But I guess that wraps this video up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back in a couple days, probably at the beginning of November, with what I watched from, today's the 26th, so what I watched from the 26th onward. That will be The Boy, number 2. The Thing, one of my favorite, very favorite, if not most favorite horror movies. I'm also watching Jennifer's Body, Black Christmas, the original, The Devil's Backbone, which I've never seen before, and then I don't know what I'm watching on the 31st yet, so I don't know. I don't even know if I will have time on the 31st to watch, because I'm not really sure what my plans for that are going to be. We're not going trick-or-treating. We decided not to do that, but I don't know what we are doing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have such a spooky week. It's only a couple days until Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.